and welcome to my channel. So for today's video, I got these watercolor paintings, sheets. From my understanding, they were in plastic. This brush came with it, but it was reflective. From my understanding, it's like coloring pages for watercolor. And I'm not very good at watercolor, so I figured this would be a good way to practice. They did come bent, but I'm sure that that'll be okay. I mean, it's watercolor paper. So we've got a few to choose from. They did have other options. I went with florals. Ooh, I'm actually really digging that one. Got a sunflower. I probably will eventually do all of these, but for the video, I'm just gonna choose one. I'm leaning towards the sunflower, or I think this is a foxglove. I think I'm gonna go with this one. I don't know what color these are supposed to be exactly in nature. Oh, it comes with these. These are cute. So I might go with approximately the colors it recommends, I guess. This is just a sheet. This isn't like a pamphlet or anything. Now I'm starting to kind of wish I'm going with this one, but no, I'm not going to. I'm gonna go with this one. The sunflower is more fall. If I do another video using these instead of just doing them on my own, I might do the sunflower next time. I really don't care as much for that one. But I think that they're foxgloves. They could be something completely different. And then instead of like your regular watercolors, it comes with like these watercolor sheets. I'm assuming that they're kind of like the Vivina sheets, which is just like watercolor embedded into the paper, so you wet the paper. So I'm only gonna grab one of them in case I like completely soak it by accident. And I'm gonna put the rest of these off to the side. Let me use a slightly bigger brush. It did not come with one. It didn't come with like a larger brush, but I'm gonna use a larger brush to like wet the paper to start with. And the only reference image I'm going with is the example sheet. And I'm notoriously bad at watercolor. What I'm doing over here, I've got a water cup. I am notoriously bad at watercolor, and I'm going to be doing this like in sections. And I'm also really glad, by the way, that these are outlined in brown rather than white, or in brown rather than black, because it's more subtle. Let's do like a light wash. Like the lightest, not the lightest pink, but like this pinky color. Okay, it looks like it's actually picking it up, which is pretty cool. Alright, so I'm gonna try like kind of go around the edges. I might not complete this whole thing if I hate it, by the way. And I will put in an image of the listing if I can find it. And this is one of those paintbrushes from Michael's, a $5 pack, and it's bent, like it came bent. If you are a relatively long-time viewer of this channel, I say relatively because I haven't even had this channel for a year yet. We got this all messed up already. You'll remember my last attempt with watercolor, or watercolor-esque medium, when I did the painting with Halloween makeup series in October. And it was sloppy, to say the least. This thing is shedding already. These brushes suck. I mean, they were $5. I didn't have high expectations. I just needed some fresh brushes. I do need to invest in nicer brushes. I'm really thinking about getting the, I think it's Bearco, something Bearco. Paintbrushes from Chloe Rose Art, which is another art YouTuber on this platform, and I've been watching her for a really long time now, and she does have her own line of paintbrushes, and I've been wanting to try them for a while. And I just have not been able to convince myself, because I mean, you can get cheap brushes from anywhere for cheap and then just replace them, but I have been getting a lot better about taking care of my brushes. That's something I've been working on, because I'm really bad about just leaving them in the paint water or leaving them in the rinse water cup or anything like that, and then just like leaving them to be damaged or letting paint dry on them, and that's really damaging for your brushes, and I've been trying to get better about that before I invest in nicer brushes. But I also try and be more environmentally cautious, and just getting something with the intention of throwing it away is very much not environmentally cautious. I should have taped this page down because it's already starting to warp, and I kind of knew better. I mean, it is from Temu. It's honestly thicker than I was expecting it to be, but I think it's more of a cardstock than it is like a watercolor paper. So if you do end up getting these, that is something to be cautious of. They're really cute though. And I thought this would be a good way to kind of practice watercolors, not worry about ruining my own sketch and then feeling bad that I didn't try it in a different medium instead. Because that's typically what I do, is I try out a new medium, I don't like how it works, and then I feel bad that I wasted a sketch that I really liked on something that I was not hopeful on. So I'm trying to get better about doing that, and like tracing my own sketches if I'm not super confident, which I do every once in a while. Not every single time, but if I really like a sketch and I'm not confident on a medium, or it's a new medium for me, I'll take out my light box and I will trace it out onto another sheet of paper so that I can try it in another medium if I don't like how the completed project goes. And that way I have a backup. Or if I don't end up needing that backup, I can kind of doodle with it later on down the line. I am noticing I'm only doing a light layer and I'm not even halfway done on just the main portion of the flowers, and I'm already about halfway finished with an entire block. So that's not going super well. I do have other watercolors, I just wanted to stay true to the kit. Years ago, and excuse my dog, she is trying to find a comfy place to lay down, so if she's being loud, I apologize. But years ago, I did not have the same mentality as I do now on affordable art supplies, and I was under the impression that if you were not good at a medium, if you were decent at art and not good at a specific medium, it was due to the medium. And so I invested in decent watercolors because I also have my grandmother's watercolors and I did not want to just completely waste them. She mostly worked in like art classes, like the tutorial follow along classes, probably back in the 80s or 90s. More than likely in the 90s. I'm not 100% sure. But she was actually really good. We still have some of her work in the family. She's still around, but she is in a senior care home. She is struggling with dementia. I don't feel like these are horrible because they kind of spread out decently. You can tell they are a little streaky even when I wet the page. When I get better at watercolors, I would love to play with her watercolors on this channel and talk a little bit more about my grandmother, because I do love her. She's a wonderful woman. And oh, when I tell you she could cook. That woman could cook. Oops. Oh, I messed up. That was also supposed to be green. Darn it. Alright, I'm gonna go in with the slightly darker pink and try and do some like streaks. Something I'm also noticing about the like paint portion is if you scrub just a little too hard, you're gonna get like paper that comes up with the paint. Struggle with when it comes to art, and I think it seriously affects my watercoloring, and that's why I struggle with it so much, is keeping things loose and being too tight with my artwork. I have a hard time not being in control with my own art, and with watercolor you kind of have to let the paint control itself and let it do its thing, and I am really bad at that. So that's something that I'm trying to work on, and that's also part of the reason in the first place that I got into Clover, cut it out, to paint markers, is because I wanted to learn watercolor really, really bad. And with paint markers, you have all the control in the world, but you've still got to get looser because you can't get a whole lot of detail. So let's see if it's helped. It could also just be my personality each day though too, because if I haven't had a good day, sometimes I just feel like I need to be more in control. I feel like that's everybody. Everybody just wants to be in control of their own life. Another thing I don't understand is how are you supposed to blend colors? It's supposed to give you everything you need, and I don't have a palette, and I don't think you're intended to blend these watercolors together because of how they are. But I need to blend my paint. I don't know if it's the paint quality or the fact that the way that they have it given to you, like with the sheets of watercolor, is causing it, but I just feel like it's not pigmented enough. And I also know that my brush is supposed to probably be wetter, but then it just mutes the paint too much. Like, this is the strongest color I've gotten so far, and that's not very strong. So this is kind of what I was talking about with it being on paper and low quality. I don't know if you can see all of the little paper shards that have been building up on my brush. Like, they're everywhere. And they're getting stuck to the bristles because it's also a cheap brush. But in all fairness, this is not the brush it came with. So I thought I was recording and I wasn't, but basically what I did was the centers, which I just used the same pink that we did the base of the flowers on, and this like peachy color on the outside, and I did that to all the ones that had the open centers, and then added some yellow in. And then what I've started doing with some of these, and including where it was wetter, I also added some of the same color, is I mixed some of this red with the brown. That's how I got these stamens. I should know that. But the pollen holder things from when the flowers fall off, which I did a bit of a messy job, but it's fine. And I just filled in some of these dots like that. I'm letting the paint dry a little bit more. And I kind of did like this splotchy watercolor effect, similar to what they have here, but I went a little crazier with it because I felt like it needed something in the background and I really didn't want to paint a whole background. Oh, and I did the stems. So I just took I watered them down in sections, like I painted on just water in sections, and I took this lightest green and I just put a little bit in there. And then I did the same technique with the dark green on the stems as I did with the flowers, where I was kind of just doing it in strokes to kind of build up depth. And I had to do this bud a little heavier because this is the one I put pink on by mistake. And then I took a little bit of yellow on most of them and just popped on some yellow to brighten them up. So that's basically what I did there. And I also, I'm sorry if you can hear the plane, I don't live too far from an airport. And I also do not plan on signing this because this is not my work. I'm just coloring in somebody else's. So I know a lot of my videos, you can hear me saying never forget to sign your work. But in this case, it is not my work. It's somebody else's original art. So I will not be signing. Apparently we gotta let that one dry a little more. Alright, I think that turned out pretty cute actually. Just add a little bit more to that part. Make the very tip of it a little darker. I messed it up more, it's fine. We'll leave that be. So I'm not gonna wait for this to dry, but that should dry down to about this shade anyhow. I think it turned out pretty cute. A little messy. I got some paint on my nails. But I know this was a really simple video, but if you like how this came out, and even if you don't, because this is not my normal work, please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Again, if you didn't, I understand. This is not my normal content. Normally I make my own kind of art. Normally I don't use a medium that I'm horrible at. But I wanted to try something a little different, and I want to get better at watercolors. So the way to get better is to practice. So that's kind of what I was doing here. Please like and subscribe if you have any other ideas for videos or something that you want me to try and paint or draw. Please let me know. Don't worry, you won't see any more watercolor content for a little while. And when you do, it's probably not going to be one of these watercolor coloring sheets. Unless you guys like it, then let me know, and I've got 3 more of them. But yeah, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to stay artsy. Bye!